I have an alien friend. It's totally weird. Hi, I'm Robin. I'm 14 years old, and I went through a really extreme event that I can't tell not even my friends, and definitely not my family. Everyone would think I've gone completely insane. If someone had told me this story a while ago, that's exactly what I have thought, and nothing could have convinced me. The thing that I have an extraterrestrial friend with whom I spent the most incredible 2 days of my life. He had a significant impact on my life. It happened a few months ago on a Saturday. I had spent the evening at my friend Tom's place. It was extremely late when I began my journey home. Suddenly, something in the shape of a capsule appeared in front of me. I knelt down, expecting to see a container or a toy, but it was too dark to see anything. I kept it in my pocket, intending to examine it more closely the next morning. When I got home, I tossed the capsule and my jacket on a chair and fell asleep. That night, I experienced a series of bizarre dreams in which I saw a strange entity with a big eye. It had a gelatinous body that was wrapped around some sort of antennae. In my dream, I thought the strange creature with its slimy body was frightening and disgusting. On Sunday morning, my parents left to play tennis. I was still sitting at the table when I suddenly noticed something in the corner of my eye. Easy, that's all right. I guess I said to myself and looked at my left shoulder. It was looking at the same in my dream. The thing rolled over my arm onto the table and looked at me. Don't panic now, I thought in panic. Calm down, I'm your friend. I heard inside me vibrating strangely. It's not me at all. It's you saying that, isn't it? I asked again. I heard that vibrating voice inside me saying,
Yes, you are incredibly quick to realize this for a human.
Who are you? I asked out loud. I heard the voice inside me.
I don't mean to be arrogant. Don't be afraid, please.
No, I'm not. But who are you? What are you doing here? What is this all about?
Could you please stop talking?
The little thing asked me. I understand you, but your thought and voice are becoming increasingly jumbled, making it difficult for me to follow. It was all unbelievable, and also absolutely insane, I thought. I didn't get lost at all. I tried, but believe me, when I say that controlling your mind is difficult.
I come from a galaxy not too far away, and you, human, may not be aware of this. Anyway, I was here a few millennia ago, and now I'm curious to see how far you progressed. I'm what's called a scientist or an explorer, as the case may be. I don't have a name or gender, therefore I know what I'm. I believe an allusion to amorphous suit is more appropriate for my shape. Imo requested that I direct him to our knowledge when I placed him down in front of my laptop. He was taken aback. He said he was researching us human for our 2 years at the National Library of France in Paris. He made me pledge to not speak about him to anyone until he left. Then I could make my own decision. But he advised against it. He said,
My head was a bit mad, but I decided to go on this adventure.
And I was sure in a deep and strange way that I could trust Amo. He stayed on my laptop all day. In the morning, he wanted to go to school with me in my backpack. I asked him what he had discovered tonight, and he told me that, to his understanding, we, humans, has made a major leap in our development after his last visit. But he found the pervasive aggressiveness, which is only a characteristic of primitive species, completely incomprehensible.
It is logical and totally destructive, he said. You are continually destroying everything you build at great cost. Aggression is never part of a solution, it's always just another problem. The most evolved species otherwise invariably seek collective and creative solutions. I probably won't stay long because humans as a whole are not at a point where they can recommend contract with you to my planet's society.
I was speechless, but we already arrived at my class. Tom asked if I was awake yet. I mumbled something incomprehensible, and he explained that a math test was coming up, and then I remembered that my parents had asked about it at dinner. I begged Imo to be quiet. He said,
Okay, I've been working for 2 minutes.
Later, the test began, and regrettably, I was able to sneak a peek at storm papers every now and again. The rest of school day flew by, and all I wanted to do was get away and talk to Emo some more. Tom asked if we were going to do something later, but I just replied that we weren't going to do anything today. I needed to get something done. He said,
I felt that you guys think very negatively. You hardly attentive or kind. For example, your friend Tom got mad at you for copying him without asking, and you got mad at him for not taking his arm off the table to let you see his work better. But in reality, you were disappointed that you hadn't answered him yesterday and that you were so weird this morning. In fact, you barely noticed him at all. The same was true of the other in his class and his teacher as well. Very unfortunate.
I had to think about it for a while. When I got home luckily, no one was around and I was finally able to ask Amo about his squirrel. He began to tell me.
Every night, we form protective nets with our bodies over our energy sources until it's daylight again so that they do not freeze. The coast did not harm ourselves, but without the sources, we would have to leave. Long ago, we struggled with this task, but often did not get it right. Many of us suffer as a result of it. We realized sometime in our evolution that we could use this start as well and learn to make the most of it. Today, we cherish these evenings more than anything else. We resonate with one another and merge into one mind and body.
I listened to him intently, much like a sponge works for hours on the ground. I hurriedly took Amo to my room to fetch the stop as I heard my parents arrive. I informed them that after supper, I was going to Tom's house to do some schoolwork and other things. I wanted to spend time with Amo before he left that night, since I still have a lot of questions for him. So, after dinner, I headed to the park with my rucksack full of Amo and the capsule. I asked him what I could do and if he would be back. Yes, he said. In about 200 years, I stop by again. Maybe I run into one of your descendants. That would be nice. You ask what you can do to solve your problems? Controlling your thoughts and action will come naturally if you are just a person who's just as good as you can be with all his might. Believe me, it's a huge task, and you have your hands full attempting to complete it. We talked about a variety of topics, but after midnight, he said his goodbye, climbed into his capsule, and took off. For a moment, I considered telling Tom about Amo, but I decided against it. I spent a lot of time thinking about honesty and who or how I want to be and become. I discussed it with him and asked about his thoughts. He thought it was strange at first and that I had changed, but after a while, he told me, "You used to be uncaring and preoccupied with yourself. Still, you've been my best friend since the first grade, but lately, I think you're really good." We have to laugh. I wish I could meet Amo again, and I still have so many questions. In my case, it was the most exciting 2 days of my life, and I will never forget them.
My name is Mia, and I went 2 weeks without eating in order to lose weight. I stumbled upon a dieting blog by a girl named Amy, who had been on a diet that required her to consume less than 400 calories a day. She posted some pictures of herself, and she looked amazing. I decided that losing weight would solve my concerns. Everyone would congratulate me on my new figure, and I would regain my confidence. I wasn't the type to do things half-heartedly. I read on the internet that if you're hungry, sipping a glass of water will help them go away even faster. I could load you up even more with a can of Diet Coke and some chewing gum. It was a lot easier than I had anticipated. I purposefully overslept so that I would have to rush to the school without eating breakfast. At lunch, I ate my ration of 2 carrots and Diet Coke, and I told my parents that I was studying for the test and that I needed dinner in my room. I would dump it down the toilet as soon as they left, and while I went hungry for the first several days, I loved the sensation of being in charge. This provided me, and I didn't want to inform my pals what I was up to in case they copy me. But I did tell Amy, the blogger, that she had inspired me. She said I had such amazing resolve to not to eat anything at all, and she wished she could be as strong as I was. We made a decision to support each other in our pursuit of perfection. Although I enjoy having complete control over my diet and my life, after a few days, my friends had noticed that I wasn't eating, and whenever they inquired, I would snap and said that I wasn't feeling well. I despised them for attempting to sabotage my diet. On the weekend, I walked across my city to avoid any temptation of food. But when I had to sit down a lot because I kept feeling dizzy, then I began fainting. The first time it happened when I got up too quickly, then it happened at school in front of my entire class. And I found it quite easy to eat nothing. I was feeling ill and lethargic most of the time due to my lack of food. But Amy said she was feeling the same way and that it would probably get better. We text each other late at night with motivational quotes and photos. I stopped conversing with anyone else. I passed out at school once more, but they couldn't get me to wake up this time. I finally awoke in the hospital, disorientated and feeling worse than I ever felt in my life. My parents were there and they informed me that my brain had shut down my body because it didn't have enough fuel. But I would be fine. I was too weak to cry. It took me a few weeks to fully recover, and fortunately, because I hadn't been fasting for very long, I hadn't done any permanent damage. I tracked down Amy's parents and discovered that she suffers from a severe eating disorder for years. I'm now seeing a counselor, and I count myself fortunate that I didn't become any worse. I have learned that, contrary to popular belief, becoming slimmer will not make you happy or solve your problems. It will make you feel isolated and alone. Talking about how you're feeling with those who love you will help solve your problems. Please share any wacky dieting stories in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the story, please click the box below to subscribe to receive updates on new stories.